Hey guys, Leanne here on GradysMom. I am back with a new What's for Dinner video. This particular video was filmed over the course of like 3 weeks, and some of the clips are out of order, but I know you guys don't really care about that. This first dish here has become a favorite of mine. It is a ground turkey dish with a ton of vegetables. The actual recipe does not call for it being served over pasta. It calls to just be served as it is, but I decided to plate mine over pasta. I will go into depth on this recipe more in the very end of this video, and I will leave the recipe link down below. This next dish here, I have about a pound of bacon that is baked on a baking sheet. And we're having breakfast for dinner this night. I did some French toast. I'm just putting some cinnamon sugar on top. And along with the French toast, we had the bacon, of course. And we also had some sliced strawberries, I believe. And this is just like a regular, I think it's just a Sara Lee brand butter bread. Usually with French toast, I will just use whatever bread I need to use up. I also made some of the Aldi brand flat round patty sausages, which I love. And the leftover, I actually cooked the whole pound of bacon to have leftover bacon on purpose, so I could use it for sandwiches, BLTs, and also crumble it up on some salads. So we had the strawberries with the bacon sausage and French toast. Really easy dinner. It was delicious. We actually hadn't had it in a while. This next dinner here, I am using these stir-fry style vegetables from Aldi. I have ground beef here that I'm just draining the fat on. And this was like a frozen stir-fry veggie mix. It had like broccoli, green beans, carrot, peppers. I just sauteed it up. I added the drained cooked ground beef back in. And then the stir-fry veggies actually came with a sauce. So I used the sauce on the veggies and meat. And then I just served it over just a small amount of pasta. Obviously, you could serve this over rice. You could serve it just as is without a carb. But it was really good. I just sprinkled some sesame seeds on top. This next meal, we had grilled cheese and bacon. So that's where some of the leftover bacon went into play. Just regular classic Campbell's tomato soup, and they just dipped the grilled cheese in the soup. The next dinner is just a beef and veggie with pasta soup that I had made a huge batch of all the way back in December, and I had froze it into 4 separate dinners, and this was the last one. So we had a bowl of soup, and we had some deviled eggs and just some sliced hard salami on the side, and I do have to make another batch of that. Moving forward, I have some sausage and peppers here. Sausage and peppers is one of those classic meals for our family that I have on our meal plan at least once a month. And I made it with good old Kraft mac and cheese. I love Kraft mac and cheese every once in a while. We don't eat it a whole lot, but every time we have it, I love it. And we like ours with a ton of black pepper. So I just roasted the sausage with the peppers and onions, and then the Kraft mac and cheese on the side. It was absolutely delicious, and we had a ton of leftovers that I had for lunch. The next clip here, I am making one of my favorite soups. It's a soup that I make lots of different variations of, but the base is always ground sausage, the Jimmy Dean pork ground sausage, about ½ pound. I always use carrot, celery, and onion. I always use white cannellini beans. This time I added cabbage, and as you saw, I sauteed it up. I added it to the crock pot with a can of beans. I used some jarred marinara sauce and about a quart of beef broth, some bay leaves, a bunch of seasonings. It cooked on low for about 6 hours. It was absolutely delicious with that cabbage in it. I don't always add cabbage, but it's so good with it. And it's one of my favorite go-to soups. The next dinner here, I have a ton of sharp white cheddar that I grated up with just a good old box grater thing. This is probably about 2.5 cups of sharp cheddar. I have a crown of broccoli that I cut up and steamed off and cooked. And then I have a pound of elbows that I boiled, and I made a cheese sauce using that cheese, of course, flour and butter to make a roux, and obviously some milk. And I made a creamy mac and cheese. The little brown bits are some French's fried onions. I used those for the saltiness, the crunch they give, and the flavor of the onion. And it baked up really nice with all that delicious sharp white cheddar and that steamed broccoli. I absolutely love making mac and cheese with broccoli, with bacon, with ham, just plain. It's just delicious. It's definitely a comfort food for us. My husband absolutely loves the mac and cheese, and it was delicious. The next dinner here, I had some sauce frozen that had pork in it. It like pork chops off the bone. And I thawed it out and cooked it up with some sausage and penne pasta and just some of the Texas toast 5-cheese little garlic bread. This is a new pot that I'm using for the first time this dinner. I've used it many times since this clip, and I really like it. I'm using some cabbage here. I've got about 3/4 of a head. I peeled and cut up some potatoes, and I've got my cabbage and onion sliced up. That kielbasa I got from BJ's. I only used about half that package because that package was huge. These are some new plates that I recently purchased, so you'll see these a lot moving forward in my dinner videos. They are made of recycled bamboo, and I did purchase 8 of them. I don't know where the other 4 were at this time, but I did get them at TJ Maxx. So I sauteed up the potatoes. I believe this was like 3 medium potatoes. I did leave the skin on, and I added in the cabbage, the onion. I added it in phases because the potatoes take a little bit longer. A little bit of EVOO, salt and pepper. I added in the kielbasa and just let it cook up. I wanted the kielbasa to get a little bit crispy and brown on the skins and the edges. Just simple, like I said, olive oil, salt, pepper, some garlic powder, and it was really, really good, really tasty. I just am in a major cabbage kick lately, and I'm not mad about it because I love cabbage, green cabbage, purple cabbage. I will take it all. The next clip here, I'm using my crock pot again. I'm doing a classic beef stew in the slow cooker. I'm using the McCormick slow cooker Hearty beef stew seasoning, which is delicious. You just add that seasoning packet to some water and whisk it up. I had the stew beef, I had carrots, I had potatoes, celery, and I did use some pearl onions, which I think are just delicious. So you can see the little pearl onions on top, and I cooked this on low for 8 hours. It was absolutely delicious. I actually remember coming home from work and just it's the smell hitting me, and it's just so comforting. But the meat just fell apart. Everything was great. I love the broth that it makes. I almost like to eat it like a soup, but it was super, super good. The next clip here is a glazed honey spiral ham. I got this at Walmart. It's already cooked, but you just heat it up in the oven and add the glaze. I did some roasted broccoli, some like smashed skin on potatoes with garlic, and some pasta. And then on the side of the ham is just some spicy mustard. And it was just a really tasty dinner. Now we're going to move into the very first dish that I shared. This is a more in-depth look at that dish with zucchini and peppers and onions. You can also use like bell pepper, which you can use red or orange or yellow bell pepper. I happen to have green this time. This does call for a ton of different seasonings. So I had like most of my spices out so I could measure everything up. And then you are going to need some tomato paste. So as you can see, the seasoning greatly changed the look of the veggies that you're sauteing up. And you're going to saute them up in batches. So after the veggies were done, I put them in a pie dish, and in the same already hot pan, I went ahead and added my lean ground turkey, and I cooked that up. You want to do it separately because this makes a lot, and this is also a good meal for meal prep. Then you add in baby spinach and the tomato paste and more seasonings. I'm going to link this entire recipe, the link for it down below. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it calls for it to be served just like this. I choose to serve mine over pasta. The next time I make it, I'll probably serve it over rice. But it's so good, guys. I have made this exact dish 2 times in 3 weeks. This is my second time making it in a 3-week period. Absolutely delicious. Definitely give it a try. If you're not a big fan of ground turkey, you will like this one because it is very flavorful. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new here, I have an entire playlist of these types of videos linked down below in the description box from over the years. Have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.